Once again, the House of Keys has failed to fill 2 seats on the Legislative Council, and with Joanne Watterson MHK, who tweeted immediately after this morning's sitting that the system needs to change. Now, what we've seen happening over recent months, is this damaging the credibility of the Parliament?
I think it's disappointing that a system that has been in place for nearly 100 years now just doesn't seem to be working in more recent times, and the number of times it's taking to ballot to get to a result is embarrassing.
Is it not time to have MLCs popularly elected?
Well, popular election is one thing, but I think that there's been a lot of talk, and certainly in Tynwald before, about that would mean super MHKs, because they would have a far larger constituency, and yet at the moment the system is designed so that the Legislative Council is, if you like, not the policy driver. The Keys determines the policy, and the Legislative Council reviews legislation, and that's very much its role. It has very much a secondary role in our modern system. So to make it popularly elected would probably change that. Certainly in the meantime, there are other things that we can do to make the system work better. We can do things such as stop it being a secret ballot. We could remove the requirement for 13 votes. We could have it a single transferable vote system, so that we at least guarantee a result with the candidates that are in the first round. Then it's up to the members to make sure that they're proposing people who they're willing to support, and not just not supporting anybody.
Because it's clearly not working, the present system, is it?
Well, fewer than 2/3 of the people were voting in some of these rounds. So that's a real problem. You know, if they're not putting forward candidates that they can support, and they're not voting either, that's what's making a farce of the system. The system itself, you know, it could be improved, but it's the members operating the system and not voting is the real problem.
So what would you like to see happen?
Well, I think I'll certainly engage in the debate, and we need to have something that works. At the moment, I haven't got into that yet. It's something that will need to be considered, and I should imagine it will be a hot topic in the next parliamentary session starting in October.
Which it should be, but in the meantime, we're going to go through the same process again in June, aren't we?
We could go through the same process again in June, and again and again and again, because of course, until the law changes, we either need candidates who can get 13 votes, or we need to actually shake it down so that people have a chance of actually getting to 13. That's the big problem with the system at the moment. It secures a majority of the House of Keys, but that's an elusive figure. So maybe it's time to reconsider the magic number 13.
But, and over the years, attempts have been made to change the way Legislative Council works, and I think there's a bill now. Peter Cameron's got something on the go, hasn't he? It's never worked, though, has it? It's never had the support of MHKs.
No, everyone's got their own ideas as to how it should change, and in 2007 there were 3 different views, and none of them actually got a majority. So there's a general desire for reform, but no general consensus on what it should look like.